Paul Pogba and Erling Haaland. This is what he's had to say about Erling Haaland. There is a great chance that Haaland will leave this summer, he says. We will tell Dortmund what our idea is and Dortmund will tell us their ideas, he says. No decision about Erling's future will be made, though, in the winter. He went on to say Bayern, Real, Barcelona, Manchester City, these are the big clubs he can join. Manchester City, he goes on to say, won the Premier League 5 times, significantly more than Manchester United. So in that way, it's sort of inferring they're preferring Manchester City to Manchester United. Erling Haaland, could you see him coming to the Premier League?
Well, he has a release clause this year, which makes it a more leverageable situation, doesn't it? The argument was in the summer of just gone that people would be prepared to pay 150 million quid to get him out, because ultimately that might be the figure that Dortmund were prepared to accept. Then you could listen to old Slob Chops get his fees, and what Inga Haaland's got to get as well, and so on and so forth. So we are in a situation now where the transaction becomes a tad more palatable. And then you wheel in the unpalatable part, which is Riola, and it still becomes a difficult transaction to do. You look at it and say, well, you can feature Barcelona. Well, unless Barcelona are going to have a massive sea change in their ability to sign players, and the Liga are suddenly going to turn around and say, do what you please, then I don't see him going to Barcelona. I would be surprised if he was leaving Dortmund and ended up at Bayern Munich. So if, we've obviously heard Gary Neville, and on a subject I do agree with him on, about United's attitude towards dealing with Riola, because he's been nothing but a pain in the backside with trying to create division with Pogba at every available opportunity, because despite the time, remember when he came on the show and protested the idea that agents don't make money from moves, which I nearly fell off my chair laughing at. His only device to make money out of Manchester United really with Pogba is to move him. So of course all we've ever heard is Pogba being potentially linked with this club and that club. I mean, look, Erling Haaland, I'm curious to see Martin as a centre-half, what he would make of someone like Haaland.
He's phenomenal.
Is he?
He
as
really
phenomenal
is.
as we think he is,
He is. He's the real deal. There's no doubt. He's just bursting, waiting. I think he's the sort of heir apparent that's going to come to Man City and eventually be their centre-forward. They've had a false 9 or fake 9 for a couple of seasons now. Aguero, he only left in the summer, but he only featured, 3-4 times last season. He seems to be the natural fit, but at the right price. So if there's a release clause and there's an amount that City can match, I'm pretty certain that would be his favoured route. The money should be there. The Premier League riches is the wealthiest league in European football. So I wouldn't say it's a formality, but I pretty well see that it's somewhere that he's probably going to go to.
Very quickly, what Mino Raiola had to say on Paul Pogba is we have many offers for Pogba, including a contract extension proposal from Manchester United. We'll see what's best for him. But he went on to say Pogba to FC Bayern is impossible because they're not paying this kind of salary. There is talk
that rules out Haaland then, doesn't it?
Indeed, absolutely, in going to Old Trafford. But Anthony Martial is a player currently at Old Trafford. It looks as though his future is going to be away from there, because his agent Philippe Lambolet has also been speaking. He says Anthony wishes to leave the club in January. He just needs to play. He doesn't want to stay in January, and I will speak to the club soon. Martial, he's struggled for game time, obviously, we know that.
Yeah,
36. He joined the club back in 2015.
Never really convinced.
Yeah.
And I, whether or not he's had a chat with Ranić, the new manager, and he got that message that he's going to, he's not really going to be featuring, and now he's made this announcement. Maybe those two go hand in hand. I would like to think that Ranić give him an opportunity to work and graft, as he says to Greenwood this week, that you don't play unless you're going to be an athlete, and we need people that are going to work, press the ball, and work from the top of the team. So, yeah, he hasn't really featured very much, Martial. So naturally, he could stay there and pick up his money. But, playing is the oxygen. You have to play football every weekend, and he wants to move.
But that is the surprising thing, isn't it? With Ralf Rangnick in charge, you'd think they'd want to actually maybe retain as many as they can and give them a fair crack.
Oh, listen,
but maybe Anthony Martial's had enough chances. I think Anthony Martial
is the sort of player that gets managers of the sack. So I think he's the kind of player that has all the ability, but you can't rely on him. He's had ample opportunities at United to stake a claim. Now, whether those have been under the right management is a different discussion. He's played under several United managers, and I think all of them have not really trusted him.
He's immensely talented.
He's incredibly talented, but the world is littered of talented footballers. You can go down to Ravel Morrison at Derby and say what a talented footballer he is, but what's happened to his career as an example. But Anthony Martial leaving Manchester United, I don't think is any big shake.
No. All right. Well, as I say, not long until that January transfer window opens, so we'll find out what happens with him and many others, of course.
Jim White and Simon Jordan. Monday to Thursday morning, 10 till 1. On AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.